Thank God it's Friday. Thank God you're here again for another fantastic show. This right here is Let's Talk. By now, this show needs no introduction. I know you're watching. Shout out to all the people that are watching for the very first time. This right here is your second home. My name is Monique Betts.
And my name is Lydia KM. It's been a long week, but thank you for being here with us to end it.
Yes.
And my name is Dana DeGrazia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first day of February.
Oh, it feels good.
January was a year long.
On my way to work, everywhere that I passed, everybody's just celebrating.
Yes.
You know? And I saw one of the tags that people were having, some of the posters that were having was, you need to celebrate that you made it out of the 60 days of January. So for anything else, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe, you know, your bank balance doesn't reflect that it's the end of the month, but the fact that you're here with us and you made it to February, you need to be celebrating that.
You absolutely need to. And to celebrate, there's nothing else we need to do right now except for give you your Friday dose of Hot Talk.
Come and take a seat, girl. This is what you need. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Oh.
Well, before we get into that conversation, I just want to shout out people behind the scenes that make this show possible. I did come across a couple of guys who were watching us from KU, so shout out to KU. Thank you for streaming live on Facebook. Well, we're going to be talking about another conversation, but in a different angle, and it's all about relationships still. And it's Friday, you know, it's good to throw a couple of things out there. A lot of you are going to be hooking up, going on your first date. Valentine's.
Getting it together.
Exactly, and apparently the girls are behaving this time around. Anything for a bunch of roses and a teddy bear. I still don't know why people give away, you know, stuff like that. Chocolates, teddy bears, stuffed bunnies.
The classics.
I don't get it. But anyway, what are the stereotypes of dating someone who is well off? Especially when, you know, Valentine's season, which is the entire month, they have commercialized the thing. Every single brand cannot be more creative than get your loved one something, you know, it's stuff like that. And it's great that we're having this conversation on a month like this. So, you know, conversations like, are you with someone for the money? You know, nowadays it's just 1 + 1. That's exactly what it's for. But what are the stereotypes, you know?
Well, the most obvious one is that the second you're dating somebody who's well off, so are you. That's a stereotype, and that is not true, cannot be further from the truth. In fact, it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily that the person who's wealthy is generous. There's a difference. There's somebody who might have 1 million in their account today, but they won't even borrow you and give you. So that 100 bob, they're struggling. But there's somebody who has 1K and they can spare even that 300
sounds like
bob.
church. You know that verse? I mean? I'm not really good with scripture. But there's, you know, where it says the person with less who still gives is given more than the person who has not given.
Exactly.
Very true.
But why is it that people assume that what is mine is ours and what is
mine is mine?
It's more about, and it's not even just in this context. I feel like it is kind of globally. There's that assumption. It's like you have more, so you should just give more. You know, it's like there's this expectation of common sense. When in all actuality, I feel like, especially the people who I've known that are like well off or, you know, are getting there, it's like there's always this feeling that, you know, you never had enough, so you'll never have enough. So there's like a hoarding situation, you know. And they'll always ask you, like, is this a gift or a loan? You know, especially even in relationships, there's like, how serious is this, you know?
like you need to sign this even if it's a relationship.
What prenups?
What is, you know, I question what is well off and what's well to do and in what capacity are we talking? I know there's young guys watching us and, you know, we're shouting out our friends at KU. You're on campus, you've got many other things on your mind. You probably can't afford a lot of things to wine and dine your significant other. You're literally just trying to stay alive. And with all this pressure of, you know, Valentine's season or generally, a lot of people want to get into relationships where they can receive stuff. You know, it's not really about what they give, it's what they get. So it's just that and what it signals, you know. And guys, young guys watching us right about now, any girl who needs you to give more than what you actually can afford is not for you. Just drop it. It's not going to matter in 5 years. It's not going to matter. It may sound serious right now, but you need to check it from that level, you know? If it's going to advance to something else, then this particular woman who expects you to do more than what you're capable of is really not for you. Because there's women who want this, but they're not it.
Yeah.
So before you start demanding things from somebody else because they're well off, or you assume they're well off, or they should be well
They
off.
look well off.
They look well off. Guys are dealing with stuff.
Let me tell you, especially the idea of how somebody comes off, you know? Like you have what you associate as wealth.
Yes.
And you see someone with a few of those characteristics and you're like, boom, there you go. He's wealthy. No, he's not.
checked
My
your
sister
list.
calls it petty cash.
Don't do it.
You know, you have hair money, nail money.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
but
the
it's
petty
not
cash.
like I
It's
can
not
sustain
lifestyle.
you.
Yeah.
It's not we're gonna be whining and dining all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and when you get into a relationship, it's gonna fluctuate. If you're not prepared to be the girl who's like maybe a Valentine's Day or 2 or maybe 3 things are not where they should be for him personally, and he would, as much as he would like to wine and dine you and do all of that, he's being smarter for next year, for that house he's buying, for saving up for that mortgage or whatever.
Absolutely.
You've gotta have a bigger picture than just today. And yes, Valentine's Day, you've got to switch off Instagram, you've got to switch off your phone. Do what you gotta do.
Detach yourself a little
Detach
bit.
yourself if you feel like
The number you
that
have dialed
pressure.
is currently you're going to be hearing a lot of that.
Everybody's gonna be
The pressure is real. The pressure
Yeah.
is real. And that will bring us to a conversation we will have later on. You have to stick around for that one. We're going to be having an interesting conversation that is related to this heavily.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see about, what the feedback is going to be like. But
Yeah.
we do have more.
Yes. Now, our next topic is, I guess, in the day of social media, like we have a platform where we get to kind of pretend, or we get to put our best foot forward, and so everyone is always comparing, that's their best foot forward, this is my best foot forward. And that brings a lot, resenting people's success, being envious of people's success, and we discussed this not too long ago. You are picking somebody's best day and you're comparing it with your worst. Because when you're having a bad day and you go on Instagram, why is everyone having a good time? Why is everyone on a private jet? Like flying out?
Because you
Why am I
are
not there
Debbie
right now?
Downer.
You see?
Because you are Debbie Downer, that's why you perceive things that way.
Yeah.
It's all about perception.
It is.
You know, and I feel people are entitled to post whatever it is that they want to post.
Yeah.
But before you embark on socializing, it's just
Yeah.
a platform where you virtually, socialize with people. But it's just like a street. It's a virtual street where you're going to meet
Virtual
people.
is the word,
It's
yeah.
almost like,
There's window shopping.
Yeah, it's just a lot. To me, Facebook is like, that diner that you want takeout and you want to get your chips and raka get out. People are going to poke you and stuff. Twitter is snobbish people on the street, but
I
they're
can't
still
do
looking
Twitter.
at you.
It's the passive-aggressive comments.
And Instagram is just lots of billboards of stuff that you don't want to buy and you're not sure if this is like, it's like a place,
It is.
And so if you're not ready for that place,
Yeah.
don't be going there without fixing yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing people can do to tone down who they are because you're having your inadequacies.
Yeah.
And someone could be posting what to them is their lowest day, but to you that's your dream weave.
Right?
Yes.
That's your dream weave, your dream house, your dream car, your dream what, your dream what. Everybody's aspirational. Everybody's trying to make it some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, that's I think that's the ideal.
Yeah.
Why are you going on Instagram when you haven't fixed yourself and
Yeah.
etc. etc. But in this world, it doesn't even feel like it's an option. Like especially the people who are in this generation.
You found yourself browsing.
It's like there. It's like you're there.
Oh, you
know?
are. First of all, people are scrolling these streets on pages they shouldn't be on. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
also going back to the actual question, because the actual questions are, what are some of the ways that you can help yourself stop presenting those people? I think at the end of the day,
Don't
we've
go
established it's like, maybe not go there, but at the end of the day,
Don't.
sometimes you have to, okay? Sometimes you have to socialize. Sometimes you feel like, a pariah if you don't. But at the end of the day, I feel like you have to remember is someone else being successful doesn't mean that you can't be.
That's always the
there's-
issue.
There is space for everyone. And it's like really prevalent. I talk about this a lot among women
Yeah.
because I especially am an incredibly competitive person.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you're like me, you're sitting there and you're like, why is this person more successful than me? Why is this happening? And you have to sit back and you're like, listen, that person's success is their own. It has nothing to tie with yours. It has nothing to do with, it's not gonna decrease your success. It's not gonna increase your success
Yes.
because at the end of the day, your life isn't tied to that person. So you just have to have like a mantra of like, my success is not reliant upon other people.
And with the
100%.
mantra, a strong will to understand that you can rephrase that mindset, right? The question could easily be, why is this person successful? But it could also be, wow, I'm inspired by that. I can't wait for my day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got their rainy days. So once you understand that, you know that, you know what, I'm cool with that. And maturity comes with that, where you know, okay, wow, this is great. You know, you're looking at people, you know, they have their days too. But they're not going to post that. I remember telling someone that I really stepped back from posting RIPs and things like that because my social media is sort of like my vision board. So it's more of above the line from what it really is. So I will not put any negativity there. I will not go to any negative pages. So understand yourself first and then know where to be because life is full of stuff. Even if you avoid social media, as much as we're putting that on the spotlight,
there's someone else.
you walk out the door and
there's a Mercedes.
You still have to and you're like, what did this chick do for a living?
You still have to
What are we doing? You know?
What are we doing wrong?
What are we doing?
It's
so
true.
it's stuff like that because you cannot really question why things are the way they are and why someone's path is the way it is and the timing of their blessings and why things are happening for the other, you know, the other person the same way. You're going to see a lot of this pressure. I see us revisiting this story this month. Especially with the gifts coming along and people are going to get, you know, ribbons on cars.
What did I get? Let me pick from something you just said. When you said, you know, I don't put, if you know that you don't put out the worst of the worst, then surely if you use that same principle for everyone else, nobody is putting out
You'll
the
be
worst.
shocked how many people will come to you and say, oh my gosh. And it's Throwback Thursday, by the way, or Flashback Friday like today. I love the shoes you were wearing in that picture. And you're like, if they knew that that is a throwback picture and those shoes are really not for that, they were for a particular shoot. I had this going on and that going on. It's perception. Don't buy into it. Let's have fun. Don't take life too seriously. There's nothing someone else's page will do for you that you can't do for yourself. Fix yourself. 100%. And then you'll be able to enjoy these platforms for what they're intended to be.
That actually leads into our next topic because right now we're talking about the resentment that people develop, but now we're going to look into like why are people so intimidated in the first place? You know, the conversation was started because a lot of people, frankly, are pointing out the fact that you know, social media isn't the life people actually have. You know, people do take like the cream of the crop moments to publicize because that's essentially how you do grow your base. That's how you grow your brand. You know, you have to look a certain way. But at the end of the day, it's like, how do we tell ourselves this isn't actually true? I don't have to be intimidated by it. Because for me, it goes back to the mantra. It goes back to everybody can be successful. There's room at the top for everybody. And understanding. It's funny because you think about how social media works. It's all algorithms, it's all hashtags, it's all how we have to do. So if I'm posting something really cool, I'm gonna use 1 billion hashtags for it. I'm gonna be like, I'm at the zoo with the lions and the tigers and everything, you know? I'm gonna get really into it, and that's how popularity grows. So of course, everything is on social media is structured and it's strategic, you know?
Like I feel like so much of real life has come on social media. Because if you remember before social media, when it was school, you know, you are comparing yourself with, you know, the person who has like, you know, the shell toes and maybe you don't have the shell toes.
Don't bring me back, please don't bring me back.
It's true, like, you know, we found different ways to compare ourselves anyway. It's just like social media has just kind of made it like, you know, just kind of magnified, you know? And when you said about it's a maturity thing, it is. It's just like growing pains. You know, when you're a teenager, where you are personally with, you know, when you look at other females, when you look at other people, how you feel, versus when you're older and you are like, now that I know how people perceive me and maybe half the time I've got so much other ugly things going on and they don't know, maybe that's what's happening with them. So you come, the more you see, the more you experience this life, the more you start to see that everyone has a part of their life that they're battling with or something that they're struggling with. You just don't know about it. The intimidation comes from knowing your own problems, but social media only lets you see the other people's perfect sides, you know, not seeing the full picture, I think.
And I love that you've touched on the social media angle because that's one thing. We have already established that that's a perception. Not everyone is trying to be strategic on social media. This month, everything's going to be in black and white. This time I'm going to put up, you know, posts about porridge. And this time I'm going to do this about kids. Not everyone is using it for that purpose. Not everyone. Sometimes there are people who, you know, if I put up my uncle's funeral, that's depressing for myself. Why would I put that up? You know, it's really not. I think we're reading too much into it. But generally, when it comes to intimidation and success, power, all these things are relative. You know, money. Those are things that, to me, are relative, because what may be successful to you, you may not even know. I'm not even where I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I was having a chat with a couple of friends, and we were trying to map out what we want to do for the rest of the year. And I was like, yo, 2018 was not about me.
Yeah.
I dedicated my life. I could have died because of my children.
Yeah.
Well, I'm almost going to meet my goal if I make it to 6 months and then I can wean Zara. That is success.
Yes.
That is something
Success
to me.
in different
It's-
areas.
I mean, generally, the intimidation is a perception as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people have their own things that they're dealing with
Yeah.
that you may not see. However, if you're the person on the receiving end and maybe you intimidate others,
Yeah.
that is the biggest compliment you can ever receive. Because half the time internally you're winging it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then people are like, oh,
You're where I want to be.
there he
Yeah.
goes. And you're like, what?
She's
Where I
there.
want to be?
Not where I wanna be.
I don't know if this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
However, if there's one rule that goes across the board, confidence is everything.
Yeah.
I think you are whatever it is that you start to breathe, whatever you watch, whatever you read, whatever you know your circle is.
Yeah.
If it's 5 people who get intimidated by literally anything, you're going to be just like that.
It's true. Yep.
You have to be confident in yourself, because intimidation is just a spirit, in my opinion. I feel like, why are you intimidated by this person? Flip it, change the narrative, train your mind. You need to be flattered, or you need to look at that, you know. I was reading about Taraji getting the Walk of Fame, and you know, like, a lot of black women will be thinking, wow, but maybe she had to, you know, go for training at night.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Maybe
yeah.
she had to, she's worked for that for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe you're gonna come, do something, get that stage, 1 year, boom, something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somebody else, it's been a 20-year journey.
Yeah.
So intimidation is really about the person oozing that, the person giving that off.
Yeah.
What are you dealing with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of homework to do personally. People have a lot of stuff to question before you start saying, so-and-so did this to me. They don't even know that they're doing it. Check yourself. Okay, why would you feel that way, you know? And I think it's happening literally everywhere.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day. And if you ever feel like, you know, you're a little shaken, you're like, oh my gosh, these people are driving in January. My car is thirsty. Don't you worry. Don't be intimidated by that. They're probably paying a loan.
Yeah,
Right.
And
You know?
it's good to go inward. Like, if you feel that spirit of feeling intimidated, if you ask yourself truly, why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
You will find it in yourself.
Exactly.
That it's something that you've got to, maybe it's something like, you know, why do I feel intimidated?
Yeah.
Maybe today you didn't put enough effort in yourself. Maybe tomorrow you put effort. It's always back in you. You know what I mean? I always, I heard this saying, nobody can intimidate you without your permission. So always know that the
Eleanor
second
Roosevelt.
somebody intimidates you, you gave them the permission to make you feel smaller than yourself, etc. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pump yourself.
It's also about
Calm and
priorities
confident.
as well. You know, at the end of the day, I remember my father's boss one time dropped him off at his house one time, and he pulls in, and we have like a very old garage, and it's really run down. So at first, Mos is like, wow, you know, I guess I don't pay you enough. And he turns and he sees our house, and he's like, okay, actually, I think I pay you fine. Because it just happens to be a large house, but even though our cars are beaten up, you know, even the grounds aren't kept nice, it's just like, it's the priorities that I keep, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I have a nice phone, but you see holes in my shoes, you know?
Yeah.
It really depends
You're
on
so
what
right.
I'm willing to put forth.
I think where you can draw the line is where intimidation turns into malicious competition or
Don't let it get the best of you.
exactly. If intimidation is the root of vices that you've been trying to work on, then that is not healthy. But then it's still homework that you must do.
not gonna drive you well.
If it's you're on the receiving end,
Yeah.
you know, you're facing a lot of that. It's one of those things. It's really about how you look at it.
Yeah.
I think perception has a lot to do, especially the conversations we've been having this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what do you gauge success? You know, what is your value? What is your,
What's
how
your
do you,
version of
yeah,
success?
how do you mark that? How do you
Yeah.
say, this is successful, this is this, this person intimidates me? Always ask why.
Yeah.
If you can't find the why, can you move on?
Yeah.
Like, just move on.
To a different when.
Exactly, and get on the hashtag Let's Talk. Talk to us. Have you experienced this? You know, have you been that person to someone else? Have you heard someone tell you before, like, oh, you're intimidating?
Yeah.
You know, give us your experience and tell us how you feel about that. Later on, we're going to be having a conversation that is motto. Like this one, I can't wait. I saw it and I was like, this is fire. Perfect for Friday.
Yeah.
And perfect for this month. What are you looking forward to before we wrap up February? What is February all about?
February for me, I think January like kind of just went by. I had a tough time, like the last 2 weeks. Yes, it did, like, because I was going through something tough. So I want, like, everything that I aspired to do in January, I want to make it here in February. So I'm just be more goal-orientated, be very, very productive, and have me a good Valentine's.
Oh my gosh! And you can tell her hair's undone. So you know when you see
pre-gaming has started.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a fabulous month, and we've got more show for you. Keep it right here. Don't move.
Come and take a seat, girl. This is what you need. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Oh.
Let's talk.
Come and take a seat, girl. This is what you need. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Good vibes only on this table. It's all about good conversation. Oh my God, these girls are crazy. These girls are hilarious. First of all, we don't even have enough time for all the content that's out there. And I know it's in the public domain, but when we talk about it, you feel like, you know, you're a little bit more in touch. Well, we've got an interesting conversation coming right up on Talk That Talk.
Come and take a seat, girl. This is what you need. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Oh.
Well, there's a difference between being a celebrity and being popular. I like to say that. True. You know, you could be well known, you know, but maybe the bank balance is not very end monthy.
Not showing it.
You know. But, you know, the question today is, we want to pose it to you because we don't want to just have, like, you know, 3 angles to it.
Yeah.
Living a life that you cannot afford. You know, unsustainable lifestyles are a thing that has caused mental health, family breakups, it's caused damage to relationships. I'm telling you, it's endless. The list is endless when it comes to, you know, living a life that you cannot sustain. So a lot of people, especially celebrities, have been guilty of that because, you know, the pressure of the label and stuff like that. And more so on the continent because we're emulating a lot of the things on the West where you see a lot of people with endorsements and stuff that, you know, has been accumulated for years and years and years. And, you know, people, staff members that have the experience to help you create that wealth. And, you know, you have money that makes its own money and money that makes its own money. However, I think in the pursuit of trying to look like an actual celebrity, to please your fans, to live a life that people can actually believe and step out of the music video, which you had to rent stuff for. It's crazy.
Oh, God.
There's a lot of pressure to live a life that is absolutely ridiculous and unreal and frivolous. What do you guys think?
I mean, that tends to come from, I guess, the perception people have of celebrities. For example, the minute you put out a song, everyone thinks automatically you must have money, right? The second you are on TV, there's no way something...
It's like instantaneous.
Right? People think it's an automatic thing that the minute you are a public figure or a celebrity, that you have a particular lifestyle. Now, if you are not well grounded and you don't have, like, you know, your values solidly in the ground, you will start to live up to what they expect of you. You know, because it's this feeling you feel like you don't want other people to be disappointed, because when someone asks you for money and you say you don't, they can't believe that you don't. They can't, because they've already glued themselves with this idea that you must have money. Now, when you let that, what they think of you and the kind of the blueprint they've set out for your life become what you understand to be your standard, then you are up in your toes. When there's a hard month, maybe something has happened and medical bills need to be paid, but tomorrow there's this party which everyone's paying like 10K a plate. You feel like if you don't go, what will people say? It's embarrassing, it's shameful. But if you have your priorities set right, and the people who you start coming up with, those are still the people who you listen to. I feel like you can keep yourself. But I can see how the expectation put people in a kind of in a pressure position to live it up.
It's true. It's funny. It brings up a lot of emotions for me, but the one phrase that comes to mind, I don't know if it's really popular in Kenya, but in the States it's like, there are only 2 things that are constant in life, death and taxes. And essentially what that means is, like, the IRS or, you know, the KRA will always know how you're doing. No one else has to know how you're doing. And especially from how I am here, because, you know, I came here to, like, save money for uni, and then I just discovered I wanted to build my life here. But of course there are those stereotypes that come with your certain race, that comes with where you come from. Even where you live in Kenya, people will assume, oh, she's from this area, she must be wealthy. At the end of the day, you don't owe anything to anyone else like that you don't care about.
Yeah.
So you're right, you have to be grounded and not succumb to these like public pressures of like, oh, this person has to be this. And then even when someone approaches you, like, listen, I not only don't owe you an explanation, but I'm not going to try and pretend something that I'm not, because a lot of the time what I feel like people see, and a friend of mine even asked me, he came to visit and he saw street kids and he was like, how do you live like this? How do you live around this feeling like you have so much more than other people? And I was like, you know, at the end of the day, I can never pretend that I didn't have what I didn't have because I don't want to do injustice to what my parents worked for, you know? I can't pretend that I'm something that I'm not because at the end of the day, I don't want to think back like I'm doing an injustice to my family. However I grew up, that's kind of where my values are in the sense of I'm not going to pretend that I was poor, and I'm also not going to pretend that I'm rich, you know? I'm just going to be where I'm going to be, and at the end of the day, you're going to see me where I end up, and you're just going to judge it for yourself.
And the more that, you know, there's exposure, so many things are happening simultaneously, but there's three things I really want to say about this particular issue. One, the circle that you have as you grow your career, many things today are celebrity or exposed or popular. There's, you know, doctors that are celebrities, celebrity doctors, celebrity chefs, celebrity whatever. So not really artists or whatever, but if you're in the public domain, the pressure is real. The pressure to be this thing because you are looked up to, right? However, I think when you change the circle of people you're with, your values change.
True.
You have to be solid enough not to change that because the people who care are the ones that matter the most, right? And the phrase goes like, the people who, you know, care so much about the superficial things are not really the day ones.
True.
Those are not the day ones. Those are not the people you need to focus on. You need to focus on that person who was with you when you were starting out, the person who was with you when you... Before everything, because you would be humble enough to understand that, okay, this is not real. Snap out of it, you know? And people get caught up in that stuff. A lot of big celebrities, if you read, you know, since time immemorial, filmmakers, directors, whatever, they'll always say, family keeps me grounded. They'll still do that Sunday brunch. You'll still go to mom's house, and at mom's house, you know, you have to be a certain way. Don't come in here with that. You know, like I come from that kind of family. Like we call each other out, we tell each other, like I'm like one of the quiet ones. Believe it, believe it. It's crazy. My family is crazy. Shout out to my sister Fiona, she's watching. She's crazy. Fiona is a chef, right? And she's very vocal and she's very, you know, she's taller than me. And she's very, no, you
big personality.
What are you doing? You know, what are you doing? You need to see that your circle wants you to win in a realistic way. Not the superficial way. Because right about now, you're living a life that people don't understand. But the new circle doesn't know that, okay, you would rather spend your money on something different. You love gardening. You know, you want to go take a walk and buy mint for 25 bob. You know, and you don't want to spend your Friday like that. You don't want to spend your money like that. You'd rather spend this evening, you know, doing your budget. It's February. You're not getting excited. It's true. The second thing I just want to say is there's a lot of people who are thrust into celebrity status, into that kind of lifestyle, which is a far cry from how they grew up. That can be two things: a shocker, or it humbles you. Again, what kind of person are you?
It's true.
So there's people who get shocked by it, and we've seen it with Kenyan athletes who become celebrities, the Kipchoges and the whatnots. But a lot of these people are not educated enough to understand that, okay, this is temporary. You are the heat of the moment. You are the guy right now.
15 minutes.
This could change. You don't have to go for that vacay in Santorini. You really don't. Paint your walls blue. Change your interior. Have a little Santorini in your house. You don't need to do that. I think, honestly, I think peer pressure is real even in adulthood. And in that celebrity life, where you guys going? Even those guys asking you where you guys going don't know what they're doing. They need you as a plan.
They want
so
you as a
if you're
guide.
the kind of person to be swayed by literally anything, this is literally the conversation that you need. This is something that you're like, oh my gosh, I succumbed. I feel the pressure. Number 3, nobody cares. Nobody. The only urgency is with you. It's in your head. You think people care. I know a lot of people, they may not be celebrities, but they rented out cars to go to the villages over the holidays. Shame on you. But Your mom's house is thatched, but you rented a Benz. I mean,
Yeah.
who are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who do things for others.
Yeah.
And the people that have been celebrities for decades, the Oprahs of the world, the people that we look up to, are very simple people.
They are.
It's true.
Luxury is evil.
Yeah.
You must be smart about it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
must be smart.
Yeah.
So the circle you keep, you know, the people that you're with,
Yeah.
do they counsel you? Do they tell you, no, that's not necessary. You don't need to do that for the gram.
Yeah.
Stop it, Lydia. Stop it, Dana.
Calm down.
You don't
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
Lipstick is lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that brand that you feel that, you know, nobody's going to care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't care. And the circle you keep. And also educating people.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a framework that could come, you know, just to tell people, okay, this is how you handle money.
Yeah.
Educate them on, you know, how to manage their finances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because especially on this continent, you want to live like a
Oh,
hip-hop star. And, you know.
I even saw
No,
it
really
back
wanna do it.
in the States. When
Yeah.
I was growing up in high school, I had a friend who, very unfortunately, her father died very suddenly. And through his insurance, she actually got about $1 million. And she had zero guidance, you know? She had no one to tell her how to plan for her future, no one to tell her, you know, create a nest egg savings. And she ended up buying, what's that, a Mustang.
Yeah.
All right, she ended up buying herself a Mustang, and then she just fell into obscurity. I have no idea where she is right now. And that's the problem, is especially, even if, like, you look at kid stars, you know? The Disney stars, and then they grow up and they become, you know, the Lindsay Lohans of the world, and you have a little bit of struggle through it.
It's true.
You need, you know, money, as bad as it sounds, without really careful training and support, it will change you, even as an adult.
It's true. Now, you know, training sometimes, you know, comes from parents, and, you know, those might not be things that you are given. But here you are, you're an adult, and maybe you've got a little bit of limelight. What do you do? For me, the one thing which I told myself I want to make sure is a constant is, who do I look up to? Who do I look up to? Now, if you look up to the people who you can tell it's all about, you know, throwing money around, how people perceive them, naturally without even knowing, even though you're trying your hardest, you will start kind of pushing yourself towards that. Now, the people who I look up to, I make sure that they're people who are lasting past the hype. It's not about the hype.
It's not about that moment.
Exactly.
The
It's
public
about
sphere.
like how are they impacting people, you know? And how do I know, what do I know about them? The things that are out in public about you, especially when you're so famous, tend to be like the idea of kind of what your career is about. So if what they're about is being positive, you know, like educating people, impacting the world with something positive, if that's what I'm pushing myself to being, then it will kind of keep me grounded around this hype.
However,
you know what I mean?
I'm going to cut you short there, because there's, okay, you have the financial literacy, you have, you know, the poster family, they guide you right, they hold your hand, you come from function. You know, your father was there, your mother was there, everything is perfect. And now you are a celebrity. The other thing that we're missing out here is the relatives that suck you dry.
Oh,
Besides proving things
can I
to
sip
people,
my tea first?
I know.
I need to sip my tea
Besides
first.
proving things to people, a lot of celebrities are caught up trying to impress the people that should be protecting them.
Yeah.
The people that should be guarding you, saying, listen, you grew up without shoes, you know it. What kind of amnesia is that, you know? You know you always wanted to start off, you know, doing something like this, something more impactful. But what if that circle that should be your guard, your
support
and your support,
and your safety,
that's the leech. That is the reason you're living a life that you can't sustain. Your auntie's grandmother's sister, friend's auntie, uncle's brother of the friend is now living with you. You're feeding people that you were told are your relatives. It happens, especially in this country, on this continent. These are things we have heard. And they are ready to be around you when stuff is there. What about that kind of scenario? Do you know how difficult it is to battle off that inner circle?
I can imagine that's
hard.
next to impossible. Like, you know, let's give like my closest people, my mom, my sister, my dad, my cousins, the people who, you know, I would go past the end of the world for. Now, if they ask me for something, even now, like, you know, you caught, like, you know, without even thinking, You're like, okay, what can I do? What can I move around? What can I shift around my world to make sure that I can provide them with what they need, or to make sure that I'm there for them? So now you won't see that you're being used. You won't be able to see that they are trying to use me. What you'll be seeing is, you know, I've got a lot, they should have too. You know, and I see a lot of people feeling like a sense of guilt. They feel like if they don't help, they were the people who we were struggling with. So now if I don't help, now I'm going to be seen to be bougie. I'm going to be seen to be that Hollywood.
And honestly, a lot of people have said, a lot of celebrities later on, you know, when they realize, you know, there's always that,
aha moment.
You know, there's always that movie when things have hit the fan. They always will sell themselves for one last movie when there's no money. So sometimes it's that inner circle, and you'll find how it ends is always an agency saved them. So it still goes back to, okay, there are agencies that could also, you know, influence how you spend, how you live, the, you know, the kind of image they want you to be. If it's an artist, the label you're signed to, what are they trying to portray? And we've seen it. We've seen people who, you know, had to post literally everything, and then you find out, okay, your last post was about 6 months ago. What's happening? You haven't been flying around. You know, it's unsustainable, and if you have to sustain other people, but it still boils down to one thing: who are you as a person? There's a lot of self-work to do. There's a lot of things to do internally, because you may trust the agency, you may trust the label, but they want you to live a certain way.
They do.
And then you may trust your family, and they may suck you dry.
Oh yeah, especially here, I've seen situations whereby it's like, you know, those chamas things. And I've seen situations where once you turn like 18 or you finish uni or something, you're automatically in it.
Is it?
Yeah, and so you see, I mean, there's some families that do it. It's like, oh, you're out of uni, we expect you to already have a job, we expect you to have this. And so they'll automatically sign you up, and then you see people incurring debt that they had no idea they had. You see young people who are like, listen, I just graduated, how is it that I suddenly now owe you? And then the family is like, shocked that you're not, you know, paying what they believe is your due. And you know, at the end of the day, especially at this time, just because you're out of uni does not mean you have your life sorted, you know? That's really just a marker point to, okay, now the next chapter of my life is opening. But
so there's a lot of young people making it. There's a lot of young people successful. There's a lot of people who are kind of like celebrities and stuff like that. Are we ever ready? Because sometimes you can say, I'll have it together, I'll do a course about how to manage my, I'll get my financial literacy, and then somehow you just become, you'll become famous. But I think also to demystify what celebrity means. I think there's an inflated perception of what that is. There's people walking around thinking, people know my name. Nobody, okay, I'm sorry guys, I can't. I just think for peace of mind, for peace of mind, the more humble, the more simple you live your life,
the absolute better.
The less, you know, the frequency to the doctor's office. Because it's frustrating. And what it does to families, what it does to people, what it does to relationships, especially when you figure out that the people you trust are all about money. It just changes things. It does. So there's a lot of celebrities, you know, looking at, it's early in the year, 2019, everyone is expecting, where's that next song coming from? Who's paying for these things? That vacay you need to front. Who's paying for it?
Absolutely.
How you doing? How are your taxes?
That's the thing. You know, everybody else might have a certain way, but at the end of the day, you're the one who's filing what we call in the States your W-2s, you know? You're the one who's at the end of the day going, shoot, I have to really negotiate things. But you guys, we've been talking about the do's and the don'ts and haves and the have-nots. There's your little tip for what's about to come. It's time for game time.
Let's talk.
Oh my gosh, I forgot something. I totally forgot something. Besides luxury trips and things like that, do you know what else I really don't like being part of? WhatsApp groups that I did not ask to be in, and people expect me to contribute that I just have money, just like that. That is also not cool. Baby showers, wedding parties. I just got added to
one of those.
Like a lot of stuff that, listen, listen, there's people who have their heads screwed on tight. They don't need to spend what they don't have. A lot of people are going to be doing that. You know, people are expecting. There's no one who needs to pressure you to do anything. And a lot of celebrities need to learn that. So that's the little advice from not so big experts.
You know, we're just a table of women sitting around. And I think that is a good point, because at the end of the day, I'm the kind of person where I only want to be in the WhatsApp groups for like when I was in uni school projects, and now for work, you know, especially those groups that only stay alive to send me like little prayers and happy holidays. That to me is like,
but you know, like right now, because you're like, your face is everywhere. You're a celebrity. You know, think about it.
I'm like, maybe like F-list celebrity, you know, little D-lister.
No. There is no F-list. Well, celebrity is celebrity, and maybe that is why, you know, we're demystifying the definition.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're in there, a lot of people are not just calling you for game night at their houses.
True.
They're like, oh my gosh, the celebrity is in our vicinity. We need her there.
No. And but you see, that's a problem. You know, please don't. When you need a chama or money, or I'm sorry, I actually did just get put in a baby group. It's like, yeah, you know, the baby shower group. You know, it's like, yo, I met you twice, girl. You know, it's like, please.
I am guilty. I am guilty of leaving groups that I'm not part of. But this is one. I'll leave. This right here is like game night. It's like a chama. It's like everything.
Where everything
put
need,
together.
right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So what do we have for the game today?
Where everything
Surprises.
See, I gave y'all a little bitty hint, so I hope you know
like
at
this
home.
game.
Yeah,
This game
is not the do's and the don'ts, but the have I and I haven't. You know, have and have nots. Okay, so if you have, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
If you have not, it's pretty
Am
self-explanatory.
I moderating?
No.
I'm the one moderating. All right, so. Oh, these are very tame, you know?
I have or I
Thank
have
you.
not.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is
So
nice.
the very first one is, have I ever climbed a tree?
Yes.
Imagine like,
What?
Are you surprised that I've never climbed a tree?
okay, the thing is,
I have never climbed a tree.
I'm
totally
not
used to
like,
climb trees.
okay, but
I'm not as confident
climb
as I
tree,
look.
Yeah? Define climb tree, because can I get like 1 or 2 branches up?
No.
Sure.
No.
But have I ever climbed to the
Climbing a
top of the
tree?
tree? No.
Yes.
I've never.
No, I'm always, again, why?
Why am I up in the
No,
tree?
why would I do it? I was in the art club. I was the kid reading grown-up books in the house. I'm gonna do it. Okay.
You see, that's a lot of effort. So this one, I feel like we all have to be guilty of. Never have I ever eaten from the sufuria.
Oh, come on.
Of course. You cannot make.
Sometimes it tastes way
You cannot
better.
make skumawiki in front of me because I love that. Oh
Is
my
it?
love, I love skuma. You can't make it in front of me and let me
So you
expect to wait
eat
for
it-
the ugali to finish. Yeah.
What? Out of my kitchen, Dana,
No.
now.
You see, but see, that's me. I'm like, you know,
I like the
my
realness.
parents were
I
undisciplined.
like the realness for today's show.
Yeah. My parents were undisciplined. You know,
I
they were
have.
just like, if you know, lick the batter from the spoon.
When
you
you're
know?
cooking for a big family, which is any number above 3,
Yes.
you must be the one to go down first.
Yeah.
You must taste the food before you serve it to your
Yes,
people.
thank
Your
you.
children are in there. You need to eat.
Okay, this one. Never have I ever run away from home. I feel like that's
No.
like, you know, I feel like
You
I
have?
pushed my
No. Have you?
boundaries. You know, I was one of those kids. It's like I would get mad and then I'm running away and then I'd like hide under a table.
Like,
What?
You just want your
if you
parents
want to
miss
change
you.
your address
want your parents-
in my mother's house, you change it permanently, my friend.
Well, my father was a kind of man for, okay, you just go right
You
ahead.
just go.
Do that.
In fact, what do you need to get out of here? Leave.
Maybe it's
I have
just
many
like-
of you. Go. You're not
I have
special.
spares.
Get out of here.
No, maybe but you see, that's the thing. I never actually left the house. I was like, I'm just gonna go hide somewhere.
You're just like, Dana, are you okay?
yeah, and then you know, they come and find me and
Yeah.
they're like, there you are. And then did you miss me? You know. and
So
then
it's
it was
kind of
all
like
gone.
both. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'd
hear you.
forget. I'd
Okay.
forget. Okay, never have I ever peed in the bush while traveling. Why you gotta put me on the spot like that? Yeah, you guys.
I have.
Come on.
I've
now.
lost my placards. I think.
Okay.
Here they
They're
are.
right there. They're right there. They're right
Oh, I
there.
feel my head hurts.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me complete it. So not only have I will not say where, but the funny story is one time my sister and my friend, when she was visiting, by the side of the road, yeah, and the thing is, number
Pick
one,
that one now.
So we've got
they didn't
feedback
even
from
go-
social.
They didn't even go far enough, okay? They didn't even go far enough. So a friend of ours, like Kenyan, had to be like, no, you have to really leave the road. You can't just go here. So they went far enough into the bush, yeah? So there they are, you know, taking care of their business, and a snake goes through their feet. Oh my God.
That sounds like a Nigerian movie.
Have
I
you
swear.
guys ever seen
Like-
2 women running with their pets?
Pick yours up, Monique.
Oh my
What?
goodness. You have to,
What's
Monique,
Never have I ever
peed in the bush while
washed
traveling.
dishes when I.
Oh, okay, all right. If we're not gonna get an answer, we'll just move on.
We're raising girls. We're
Yes.
raising girls.
So never,
Mama's perfect.
never have I ever returned money I have found.
Never have ever
Returned money I've, no. No.
I'm even sweating
If I
right
find
now.
money,
I'm
you're
nervous
not
with
going
this
to
game.
get it.
I don't think I've ever like returned
You don't-
anything. I've ever found anything so significant that I thought to return it.
No.
No.
Have you ever heard those
Like if
people?
I find
it's
like 100,000, I might think about returning it because that could be
To
life
who?
changing.
For who?
Wait, but I don't want someone to what?
Okay,
You want to
I'm
return
gonna put a
100K?
disclaimer.
Yo,
I'm gonna put a disclaimer
just
on this
don't around me.
answer. I'm gonna put a disclaimer on this answer because we were young at some point.
Oh
Young
no!
children.
Are we talking about before the age of 20?
And you must, I mean, Ugandan currency versus Kenyan
Oh,
currency.
stop it.
Even if I picked a 10 shilling coin compared to a...
Can it say I have not and I will not? Okay, I have not and I will not.
I
On a
have
box,
not.
If I find
Nobody-
What's that Kenyan phrase? Shauri yako.
I didn't hurt
It's your
anybody.
problem, you
I
know?
didn't hurt
Even
anyone.
if I didn't say it right, it's your problem if you lost your
Why are
money.
you so passionate about taking other people's
I
money?
don't...
No, but see, that's the distinction, not taking. Okay,
The
If
same
I
way you were
find it-
passionate about, you know, peeing in places you shouldn't.
I did. You know what?
Right, she said it, guys.
We're even.
So the next one, okay. Oh, you know, it's funny because the actual phrase is never have I found money that I found in my partner's laundry. I actually haven't done
No,
my
no,
partner's
no.
laundry.
Honey, I have never.
Never returned the money to
No,
his
no, no.
pants.
I have never taken
I
money
wouldn't take money
from your clothes.
from a partner.
He's
no.
never left money in his laundry, so I don't know how to respond to that. Who's gonna wash
Oh
money?
God. Oh Dana.
I'm
I
just-
have not, and I
have
would
not.
never.
No, I have not, honey.
No.
I would never do something like that.
I'm sorry, honey. Maybe you picked the wrong wife. All right. Never have I ever broken something at a friend's house and then not told them.
No.
No, no.
Like
no,
we
no.
can,
so,
if you're my
yeah.
friend, we can discuss
I've
it.
never done it.
Okay, but you know you say you
I said I have not.
I have not. The truth has revealed itself.
No, no, no.
The truth
I
is-
have never broken anything.
Okay.
This
I
game?
don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
You
I
said
have
that,
We'll
not.
say it. We'll say it. So never have I ever, meaning you have not,
I have not.
snooped through a partner's phone while they're in the bathroom. I'm gonna say I haven't. I feel like we've gotten this before.
Not my
I have
current,
not.
but
Not
I
your
have.
current, but you
Not
have.
my
We're
current.
talking
but
about
I
the
have
current.
before.
We're talking about
oh,
the
the current?
future.
No.
No, okay. The
God,
current,
I would
no.
never do that, babe.
All right.
Honey,
Never.
I have never done that.
Good
And that's
for
why
you.
That's why
That's
you know
why.
we're 2 kids in.
They have. That's why two
Two
kids
kids
in.
deep.
You
You're
got
2
her.
kids deep.
She's there for you.
I am that wife.
So I hope we have time for a couple more. This one is never have I ever ate food that has fallen on the floor.
I'm reading them carefully before I
have.
say I have.
I have. I'm just saying. I was a gross
The
kid.
germs had not tasted.
Five
like-
second rule.
I have never. I
second
don't
rule.
remember.
You don't remember.
Oh,
okay.
do you know what?
Okay.
Are we all being transparent here?
Come
have-
and take a seat.
Oh, okay, okay. Is that the credits rolling? Are we hearing that? So this one, never have I ever walked in on someone in a public bathroom. Ooh.
No, I have.
You know,
I have.
But okay, define walking in, yeah? Because I've done the whole mom thing where it's like you knock and open and
No,
then,
like
my bad.
No, like walk in. Like
Like
they didn't
straight
get the
up
door
walk
on
But
time.
I think this is more
No.
like when you walk in, don't stop and stare.
Yeah.
Then you walk
Yeah,
away.
walk out.
Have
yeah.
a quick reaction.
Yeah,
Have a
like,
quick
We're not
reaction.
talking about it.
But
Yes.
not, oh, how you doing?
How's things going?
No,
Alright.
no, that's not cool.
Okay. Let's find some good ones. How about never have I ever made a prank call? I want to change it. Never have I ever pranked anyone.
No,
prank
there was
call?
a kid. There was
I
a
have
ever
done that.
pranked anyone?
Especially when I'm in a different country, customer service. I do
There was
it and I
a,
check
there was
them
a,
up.
there was a time when that was a vibe. That was a thing.
You know
People
what it
used to
was
do that
for
so
me
much.
though, and this is really bad. I was such a bad kid. Ours was called Ding Dong Ditch, where you ring a doorbell and then run away.
Oh no, that one's fun too. That was fun. I did that as well. Sorry, that.
No.
And I used to laugh so hard.
But
I
you know
couldn't
the
run.
problem is, the problem is for me, I got my karma as an adult because where I used to stay,
Oh, people used to
I
do
lived
that
around
to you.
kids, and all these little kids would do that to me, and they'd throw balls over my fence. You know, one time I served like 6 kids water because they all just came to my
But
gate.
prank calling, like calling,
Yes,
I have done
I've
it.
done it. Totally.
I wonder, you know, the thing is with your voice, Monique, I'm wondering, it's like, how old did you sound when you were young?
wanna-
know, it's
do you
like,
wanna- do you wanna hear it?
I want to hear a
Okay.
prank call from Monique. Let's hear it.
Hello?
Ooh.
Hi. Yes. Well, no, I don't speak Luganda. Yes. Okay. So how do I top up my phone? My parents are not around.
Oh my God.
Like for fun. Literally for
fun,
fun.
yeah.
But we'll do that. We'll do that from time to time, and my sisters and I would do it. And
Yeah.
yeah, life's little pleasures,
It
little
sounded
memories.
very calm. You know, you were very confident in your pranking.
Very late night radio. I was an old soul. Always
very
doing
confident
things, you
in
know,
it.
very confident. We take turns just to do it, just to see who got the best prank. You
Yeah.
know? And
carried it?
it's just those things for Flashback Friday that you think of and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually did that,
I
you
did
know?
that, yeah.
So if my children ever did something thinking they're gonna shock me, I'd be like, no,
Been there.
I've done
we've
it.
done
Bah.
we've
You
done
are
it
in the
before.
wrong generation.
I'm telling you, the games have been fire
I
this
love
particular
today,
season.
yeah.
But Dana, I feel like we need one more.
One more. All right,
One more.
guys.
Or
What's-
two more.
What's like the kicker? You know what? These are very tame, but let's just go with, because I feel like this one is good.
For Friday.
Never have I ever made a silly face in the mirror.
What?
Because we're talking about, you know, it's like you confidence boost yourself. Now, have you guys ever talked to yourself in the mirror?
Yes, I tell myself, girl, today you're going to get it. You're going to get that interview. You're going to walk into Let's Talk. You're going to have a good conversation with a girl. And you're going to get the job.
Oh my gosh! I think I've seen you do something like that.
Like
I think
affirmations.
It's not shocking that you would do something like that.
You got to tell yourself, like, you know, have a little pep talk, girl. You got this. You can do it. Yeah.
I think
Wow.
you know, for me though, it's like the opposite. I'll like wake up in the morning, and you know, people think that my hair is tame, but it's like wild. So I'll look at myself in the morning and be like, "Hey, I'll go." Like,
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Hey, you look ridiculous," and then
And
I'll
you
just
talk
walk
to
away.
yourself. Well, if you like, especially in the music business, you find yourself rehearsing a lot and talking to yourself a lot. How you gonna do it? What kind of crowd is it? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. And I love that you asked that last because it's still about you.
Yes.
You're talking to
Exactly.
you. You're talking to yourself, and that's the affirmation that you need. You're
Yeah.
speaking back to yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
And that sums up today's show and
It
today's
does. Be
conversation.
Be there for yourself.
Ah,
In it
I
for
love it.
yourself.
I'm walking out of this show like I was from therapy. I owe this station.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
It was one fantastic show, and it's a 3-day dose every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday right here on your favorite channel, Every TV. Have yourselves a great Friday. We're out of here. Good night.